Unlike people who suffer from Todd, people who have shit to do don't imagine that expressing an opinion on everything makes them the solution to America's problems. Now, here's how you know. I like you. Here's how you know if you suffer from Todd. If the daily outrage cycle becomes your entire personality and you scroll all day to find the outrage, then screenshot the thread, then post the screenshot with the caption, "This." During most primetime nights, less than 1% of the country is watching Fox News, CNN, and MS Now combined. A guy on TikTok pressure washing his driveway gets bigger ratings.
If you think Bill Maher is ready to call a truce with the woke left anytime soon, think again. The outspoken comedian recently used his late-night platform to unleash another blistering critique, accusing the left of having strong opinions on virtually everything and attacking anyone who dares to disagree. Maher's latest commentary was sharp, provocative, and impossible to ignore. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and let's get right into it.
Well, you don't have to react to everything, or have a hot take on everything, or care if someone says they don't like cats. You know, it wasn't that long ago when the most banal question you could ever ask someone was, "Are you a cat person or a dog person?" Well, those innocent days are over, as actors Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley found out recently when they were asked that and said they don't like cats. And the internet coughed up a furball of rage. How dare they? They don't like cats, but I do. Then one of us must die. Jessie Buckley even said she made her husband give their cat away. So what? They gave it away. They didn't have it sewn into a coat.
Maher begins by criticizing the far left for transforming ordinary personal preferences into ideological conflicts. And honestly, the observation is pretty amusing. He argues that somewhere along the way, personal choices stopped being personal. Now, every preference is treated like a political statement. Everything becomes a test, and if you don't pass it, the outrage starts immediately. According to Maher, people can no longer simply enjoy what they enjoy without being told it's offensive, harmful, or in need of correction. He jokes about how ridiculous the situation has become. These days, saying you prefer dogs can trigger complaint from cat lovers, while praising cats can provoke dog enthusiasts. It's trivial, absurd, and exactly the type of cultural chaos Maher enjoys exposing. His point is simple. Once preferences become politics, common sense quietly leaves the room.
They're not trying to outlaw cats. They're not eating them like Haitians. They just said they don't like them. That's allowed. People are allowed to have an opinion you don't share without you reacting. It's just a cloud. Let it pass. But no, that's not how a certain kind of people these days think. For them, having a phone to post from is like hosting a one-person episode of The View that never ends.
Maher then shifts his attention to the hosts of The View, criticizing what he believes is a carefully maintained echo chamber. In his opinion, the show rarely encourages meaningful disagreement. Instead, it often reinforces the same viewpoints. Guests frequently share similar perspectives, repeat familiar arguments, and approach issues from nearly identical positions. The result feels less like a debate and more like a coordinated performance where consensus is expected and opposing views are discouraged. Maher notes that when a co-host does challenge the dominant narrative, that perspective is often interrupted, dismissed, or pushed aside. Rather than fostering genuine discussion, it becomes a situation where one side overwhelms the conversation. To him, this reflects a broader media problem. Places that claim to welcome dialogue but shut it down when the discussion...
Remember that the next time you read the words Twitter reacts or backlash erupts or internet explodes, the internet didn't explode. Some Gen Z loser at the Daily Beast and some right-wing shit poster exploded. No one else cared. The media would have you think that we're all at each other's throats all the time, but it's actually just a tiny minority who are on and in media and social media and who just want to fight and bitch about everything, leaving the false impression that America is hopelessly divided. But most people aren't hopelessly trapped in a news silo. They're hopelessly trapped in a minivan telling the kids, "Shut up, I can't hear myself think."
Maher next turns to the internet, arguing that much of the outrage online is manufactured, exaggerated, and intentionally amplified to attract attention. In his view, people are not overreacting accidentally. They're doing it because it works. Why? Because outrage generates profits. With social media platforms driven by engagement, clicks and views have become valuable currency. And nothing attracts engagement faster than anger. Maher argues that many content creators have discovered that provoking people, stirring controversy, and fueling division can be extremely profitable. As a result, they constantly raise the temperature. The more extreme the opinion, the greater the reward. Yet Maher insists that this online turmoil is not an accurate reflection of real life. Away from screens, society is far less divided than social media suggests. Most people, he believes, are much more reasonable in person than the internet would have you think.
Twitter, X now, only has 1 out of 10 Americans visit it daily. 80% of us don't even have it. Sure, it has 500 million posts every day, but half of them come from the owner. Turns out, it really is like a town square, specifically Times Square in the 70s. Dirty, sketchy, and mostly full of perverts and losers with nothing better to do. Yes, I'm looking at you, all the people who lost it because Timothy Chalamet said no one cares about opera and ballet. Which prompted so many who have never been to the ballet or opera with no plans to go to rise up and say, "I have a dog in this fight."
That observation is largely accurate. Only a relatively small percentage of Americans actively use X, formerly known as Twitter. Yet the volume of noise coming from that platform is enormous and often incredibly toxic. The conversations there can resemble a non-stop political battlefield where nuance disappears and every issue is pushed to the extreme. The loudest participants are often individuals from the far right and the far left, trapped in endless arguments that create more conflict than understanding. Spend a few minutes scrolling, and it can seem as if the nation is on the verge of collapse, with everyone constantly at war with one another. It creates the illusion of total dysfunction where compromise appears impossible and division feels permanent. But that perception is misleading. What you are seeing is a magnified version of a very small but extremely vocal group. Outside that online bubble, most Americans are far less confrontational and far less extreme.
You just wake up so refreshed. I kid ballet, and I'm sure it's a great place to meet anorexics. But most people are watching Dancing with the Stars. That's why tonight, I am asking the American Psychiatric Association to add a new disorder to the Diagnostic Manual of Mental Disorders. Terminally online disease.
I'm not even sure I personally enjoy opera, but Timothy Chalamet has every right not to enjoy it, and that's exactly the point. Maher highlights what he sees as a major contradiction, noting how the same people who preach tolerance often become furious when someone expresses a harmless opinion they disagree with. The irony is difficult to miss. Everyone has preferences. Everyone dislikes certain movies, music genres, hobbies, or forms of entertainment. Even the most outspoken critics online have their own tastes and dislikes. Yet somehow their opinions are considered acceptable while others are treated as offensive. That is the double standard Maher is targeting. In this environment, diversity of identity is celebrated, but diversity of opinion often receives far less respect. The expectation becomes simple, like what they like, say what they say, and think how they think, or risk being criticized, labeled, and publicly attacked.
TOD, or Todd. People experiencing Todd feel intense emotional distress from spending all day doom scrolling on their phone. And these people need your help because Todd doesn't just affect those who suffer from it, it also affects their families and loved ones who aren't terminally online. These are the ones we call people who have shit to do.
I have to admit that Bill Maher may have a point with his humorous description of the permanently outraged online crowd. He jokingly calls it terminally online disease, and the phrase alone captures the idea perfectly. According to Maher, these are individuals who seem permanently connected to the internet, endlessly scrolling through feeds and constantly searching for the next reason to be offended. They rush into every trending discussion with complete certainty, even when their understanding of the topic is limited. Facts often take a back seat to quick reactions, while nuance gets crushed beneath the pressure to respond immediately. And the moment someone disagrees, the situation escalates. Suddenly, disagreement is treated as a personal attack. Maher's criticism resonates because it feels familiar, a culture where outrage is not merely common, but a daily habit for people who spend their lives online.